Hello and welcome to the Pinal Peak race briefing. I'm Julie, I'm the race director for this year's event.
I'm Andy, I'm Aravaipa's technology and timing director.
Kind of a big deal around here. So we wanted to do our race briefing a little bit differently this time because it is our inaugural year for Pinal Peak. We wanted to be able to kind of take you into the course, take a look at the map, look at some photos. We're also going to be talking to Andy. He's planning on running it this year. And also has spent some time training out on the course, so he's going to give us some good insight on what you should expect. So Andy, you don't really get to run too many of our events because you are our only timer. So what made you decide to do Pinal Peak?
Well, Pinal Peak is a new race. It's a place I've never run before. It gave me a lot of opportunities to get out to a new part of Arizona and just see something more than Trail 100 in Phoenix.
Was this your first time when you went out there to scout out the course?
Yeah, it was. A friend of mine and I went out. It was a great day. It's fun to spend time in Miami. It's a cool little city. A lot of cool places.
A lot of
there.
history.
A lot of history.
Yeah.
A lot of mining. Yeah.
It was my first time when I went out to scout this course as well when we were prepping for the event, and I was really shocked at what the terrain was like and the diversity. I had only been out as far as Superior, and I just did not expect there to be pine trees. I know I should have expected it because it's so high, but yeah, I was really blown away by how beautiful it was, and the Pinal Peak range and the views that you have from the top looking out are really incredible.
It was really cool. The bottom of the course is what you would expect for the Sonoran Desert, but as the climb continues, major Mogollon Rim vibes, pine trees covering the course. It was really great.
Yeah. Well, let's look in here and take a look at our course. So one thing that I've heard a lot with this event is this is a Crown King Part 2. What do you have to say to that sentiment?
Half of it is Crown King Part 2. The elevation, the climb is fairly similar to Crown King. They're pretty comparable. But in this race, all of the climb happens in the first half of the race. So it's a lot steeper. Like I said, the bottom of the course is what you would expect for the Sonoran Desert. It sharply climbs after the first aid station.
So let's kind of look at this in relief here. Starting in Miami there, immediately you're going to be, zoom in, immediately coming out of town, you're starting to climb up this Forest Service road. Really the crux of it though is going to be once you get to Smelter Canyon Aid. So leaving Smelter Canyon Aid, this is all accessible to cars, but once you reach that aid station and head up towards Madeira Peak, it gets a lot rougher. So you and Gary went out on that section. Let's take a look here at what that looks like. So this is kind of just as you're leaving the aid station, you can see it's pretty rocky, loose. What was that like when you guys were up on that section?
That part starts to fade in memory just because of what comes next. The Forest Service roads going up there, right along a ridge line, it was really great views. Again, you can look down into the city of Miami, see all the mines and all that kind of stuff. Pretty easy running. It's a climb, but it's not. It's nothing too crazy. Yeah.
But then how about once you leave Smelter Canyon and you're headed up to Madeira Peak?
So when you're at Smelter Canyon Aid, you'll see a power line cut. And you'll be very thankful that you're not going up that power line cut yet. It becomes far steeper. It's loose rock. In talking to people, I've described it like Thompson Peak that goes on endlessly and is loose. It's a challenge. Again, major vibes of the Mogollon Rim. It's great to be up there. You smell the pine trees, but it is tough. It's a tough section.
So what advice would you have for runners as they're leaving Smelter Canyon Aid?
If you've trained with poles, this might be the race to use them on.
Definitely.
I would suggest making sure that you're taking enough water out of Aid. There are pine trees, but it's not shaded necessarily. So depending on the weather that day and what we actually end up getting, it might be a long time to aid. It might feel like a long time to the next aid.
Sure, it's kind of that transition zone between the juniper
Exactly.
to the pine trees. So a lot of that is really exposed. We're going to have a ton of ice out on course at all of our aid stations. So when you get to Smelter Canyon Aid, I recommend you load up ice wherever you can in your water bottle. Ice bandana would be a great option for this event as well. And then just really take your time on that climb.
Yep.
That's going to be the steepest section of the whole course, is that climb up to Madeira Peak. So take your time, make sure you don't burn out, because you still have a big climb left going up to Pinal Peak as well.
Yep.
And then lastly, I'll just say that this section right here is the only section that is inaccessible for us for vehicles. So just, once again, be prepared when you leave Smelter Canyon Aid, because an extraction from that section of the course would be very difficult. So then looking beyond that, hitting Madeira Peak. Let me see if I can go back into, let's see. I love the way you did this, Andy. All right, so hitting Madeira Peak, going down into Madeira Peak 8 is going to be a little bit of a descent. And then you kind of got some nice flat terrain until you head over here to the, oops, sorry, I passed it. Let's see, the cutoff right here. This is going to be, there's a little campground right here. This is a nice area. We do have quite a lot of traffic that uses this road right here. That's the way that four-wheel drive traffic goes up to Pinal Peak. So we are going to have a road crossing guard available right here, just making sure that you make that turn safely. And then from here on, we are going to have cones on this whole section. This section right here, let's see if I can pull up a photo of that. Not that one. This section right here is going to be just a wide Forest Service road. It is steep, but it's not technical terrain by any means. I think people are going to make some really good time on that. We will have cones along the side here, so we ask that you please kind of stay to the side of the cones, with it being Memorial Day weekend. I'm not sure what ATV traffic would look like, but definitely expect some. So after that, you're going to climb here up to 242 Aid, and then head up to Pinal Peak. This section right here, you kind of get in the shade, and it's pretty nice. You'll hit the campground. There's going to be restrooms available. There's several of them along the way here. And then climb all the way up to Pinal Peak Aid. From the top, it is absolutely incredible views looking out. Do you know what this is part of the superstitions?
You can see the superstitions, you can see the West Pinals. Amazing views from the top.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if we have one of that. It's going to be, looking out like this. So just nice rolling green hills, really beautiful. So enjoy that view at the top. Catch your breath there. And then as you go back down, you're going to take slightly different route through here. This is more of a road. This is a little bit less traveled, still four-wheel drive road. Come back down, you're going to hit 242 Aid once more. And then I think this is my favorite section through here. Did you and Gary get out on this section
We
yet?
didn't get on that one that day, but that was a fantastic.
It's going to be really beautiful. So this is the only single track that we have in the course, and it looks like this. So this is the nice single track as you're heading down right here. Awesome views looking out towards Globe in Miami. It is going to be pretty steep going down though, so you might be able to bomb it. Maybe not. Maybe your quads are going to be out already by this time, and you'll be going a little bit slower, but that's okay because you'll have great views on your way down. Lastly, you're going to hit the CCC Aid. This is at kind of a little day use area. It's really nice. And then this is kind of some Forest Service road, again, as you make your way into town. And then there's just going to be a short section through town here before you hit the finish. Let's see if I can do it, at the Globe Community Center there. So that's kind of a little overview of our course. We do have pretty frequent aid here. The furthest distance you're going to go is going to be in between Madeira Peak Aid and 242 Aid. That's still going to be under 6 miles. So, aid is close together, but I think people are going to be moving pretty slow on that uphill. So be prepared as you leave each of the aid stations. So the next thing I'd like to take a look at is our weather. What's your guess? What do you think the weather is in Globe in Miami?
Every time that we went up there, it was a little bit chillier than the city, than the valley, so that was kind of nice. I'm guessing 85.
85? Ooh, I think maybe we could be so lucky. Let's take a look here. If I can grab it. Sorry. There we go. All right, so here's our weather for the Globe area. Looking at Saturday, right now it has a high of 91, low of 61. Thankfully, we have a 6 a.m. start, and we're only going to have about 20 minutes of wave starts. So it's not going to be too hot as you start up in the morning. And then I also have pulled up here our weather for Pinal Peak. If you go to the National Weather Service, you can actually click a location on the map and see what the weather will be like at that particular location. Unfortunately, the weather only goes out for 5 days, so right now we can only see through this Sunday. High up there is 64. So in midday, you're probably going to be looking at high 50s. So that's going to be pretty nice, a pretty big change from how it is when you start in Miami and when you finish down in Globe. So be sure you take a look at the weather before race day and that you're prepared, have adequate equipment. An ice bandana, as I said, poles, as you said, is a great option. And then you might even want a light jacket when you get up to Pinal Peak. You will be able to have a drop bag, just one up at the top at Pinal Peak. Those could be brought either to our packet pickup. If you want to throw that up for us, Anthony. Awesome. So 2 options. The first one is going to be on Thursday before the event, noon to 5. This is going to be at our Aravaipa headquarters. Second option will be on Saturday, race day, 5:30 in the morning until 6:30 in the morning. It's going to be at Miami Memorial Park. So our starting line is actually going to be 1 block away from packet pickup. We actually don't have a photo of this. This is going to be the finish. So the starting line is just across Highway 60 from Miami Memorial Park, and we'll have people to be able to direct you. And it's actually just kind of a open parking area where you'll start up the climb there. I don't know if we have a photo of it on there. I don't think so. And then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about shuttle. So we do have a shuttle available for runners because it is a point-to-point event. The shuttle is going to be before the race starts so that you can finish at your car. So parking will be at the Globe Community Center. If we want to pull that up again real quick. Thanks, Anthony. So parking is going to be, the finish line is just down there on the bottom on the fields. The parking is going to be just below that, and then you can see the shuttle bus pickup right there. Our first shuttle bus is going to leave at 5:15 in the morning in order to get you to packet pickup and get you to the start by 6 o'clock in the morning. We will have 2 buses leaving just a couple minutes apart because we don't have too many waves this time. And then you do need to either purchase your bus ticket in advance. There is a link on our website. Pull that up quickly. Whoopsie. So up here at the very top, there's going to be a link to purchase the shuttle ticket. They are going to be $15 this year. It is a pretty quick ride, only about 15 minutes, but with it being Memorial Day weekend, it was quite expensive renting those buses, unfortunately. And then you also have the option for requesting your wave start. That's going to be available until next Monday before the event. So if you wanted to request a partner, please go ahead and click that link as well. What else do we want to talk about?
If you do choose to drive in from the valley, be aware that the Pinto Creek Bridge is being replaced right now. ADOT has had some closures on that sporadically. We're not positive that the 60 is going to be open. So check on that before when we get a little bit closer to the date.
Yeah, that's great information. You don't want to miss the start.
No.
Our cutoff for this event is going to be 12 hours. We usually have a 10-hour cutoff for our 50Ks. Just because it is a little bit more technical, we are giving you some extra time there. Sunrise is just 10 minutes after the first wave start. Maybe bring a headlamp just in case, and then you can make a race day decision on whether you're comfortable
Yeah, the start is not terribly technical on the Forest Service roads. You could probably get away without it, but if you have any guess.
Yeah, I'm guessing most people will be comfortable starting without a headlamp. And then the finish at Globe Community Center, it's out on the fields. There's also a huge pavilion for people to sit under, a lot of picnic tables. So definitely I recommend bringing some food, maybe bringing some beverages. You can hang out, cheer on the other finishers. I think it's a really neat location to finish the event, and tons of room to spread out and enjoy the weather. What kind of times do you think we're going to see for this event?
Well, it's really hard to compare to Crown King, but it being the first time that this is being run. Right around 5 hours maybe for the very top people, but I think that the field's going to spread out a lot.
Yeah, we do have some really fast runners. For the women's field, we have Darcy Kloss coming back. She got second at Javelina this year, but she's actually more of a mountain runner. She was second or maybe third at I Am Tough this year. She lives in Idaho. She's a fast gal, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see her come in around 5 hours, maybe a little bit over. What are you aiming for?
I would love to be right around 5 hours. We'll see. I'm not much of a climber, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, but you've really been training a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to be ready.
I hope so.
You did mention that you had an injury, though.
Yeah, a little bit. We're healing up.
We'll see. What about the rest of the men's field?
I think that we have some real fast road runners that are coming in. There is a little bit of asphalt at the end, so maybe they can make up some time there. We'll see. Beyond that, I got to give a shout out to Cole Fehrenbrook. He's been out on course quite a bit.
He has, yeah.
And he's been training for this one, so really cool to see his training progression going on. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see what people put down.
Absolutely. This will be a really interesting and great first running of this race.
Yeah, it's always fun for an inaugural race to see how it shakes out. So, all right. Well, I think that's all we have. If you have any questions at all, feel free to send me an email, julie@aravaiparunning.com. Also visit our website. Any information you need should be able to be found there. And then we'll have a runner email that's going out next Wednesday that also has some more details. We hope we see you out at Pinal Peak.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.